Welcome back. I have my coffee made, and today we are going to read 1-star reviews from Goodreads for one of my favorite books, and then for probably my least favorite book. What is my coffee, you ask? It's cold brew with some almond milk and some chocolate almond milk. Add chocolate milk to your coffee. It will change your life. We'll start with... Is that my favorite book or my least favorite book? We'll start with my favorite. Well, okay, I don't want to say this is like my favorite book of all time because I feel like that's a really strong claim. But I think my favorite book so far this year, we're going to start with Fourth Wing. So I gave Fourth Wing 5 stars. These people gave Fourth Wing, I think they'd give it 0 if they could.
It is so bad, I want to give you a 0, but that's not possible. So I give you a 1.
Starting up, if I had $1 million for every cliche in this book, of which there are a multitude, I'd still regret spending $20 on all 498 pages of this mess. I'd also take $1 million for every cliche in the book, and then I'd probably buy physical copies of this book. I don't understand hating Fourth Wing. Like, that was such a, like, I feel like a lot of times I can understand hating a book that I love, but this was just such a good book. This person said, did not finish. I'd like to know if I'm actually reading the same book as everyone else. This is the worst piece of literature I've read in a long time. I got to chapter 8, couldn't go any further. I couldn't put this book down. I literally, Curse words do not make a personality, neither is being a horny 13-year-old. I feel like the characters acted pretty much their age. They're like, what, 18 to 22-year-olds? Like, I feel like that's how people say, like, freshmen, they essentially would be like freshmen in college, freshmen, sophomore, juniors. I feel like they acted pretty well for that. And, I don't know, a horny 13-year-old, think about that, I don't like that. Some of y'all about to be real mad at me, but this is awful. Also, if this is enemies to lovers, then oh how mighty have fallen. The amount of times I cringe was insane. I'd rather stick molten hot needles in my eyes than read the sequel. How do you read the first book of Fourth Wing and not immediately pick up the sequel? I couldn't go 10 minutes without starting the sequel. And also, like, I feel like I didn't cringe, I think, even once in this book. Like, I just ate it up. It was so good. I feel like it was enemies to lovers. I feel like this was a more, like, I definitely read a lot of books that are like, oh, enemies to lovers, and it's like, girl, when were we enemies? But they definitely, like, did not like each other in the beginning. It wasn't, like, right from the start, enemies to lovers, but, like, the enemies are, like, super attracted to it. Like, no, like, Violet recognized that Xaden was attractive, but also was like, no, this man wants to kill me, like, I don't like him. And I feel like they were enemies. Also, enemies to lovers, like, there has to be something in the enemies' time frame that makes them become lovers. Like, they have to be somewhat attracted to each other as enemies if they're ever gonna bridge the gap and become lovers. I feel like this was actually a really good enemies to lovers. This one was just funny. The ones that reviewed, all she wrote is Xaden wears skinny jeans. That was it. That was the whole review. I picture him in my head wearing kind of like black leather jacket, black skinny jeans, or his skinny jeans as, like, skin-tight, painted-on skinny jeans. I pictured, like, for starters, I did not picture this. This gives me the ick. I think I more picture something like this, where it's, like, yeah, like, those are kind of skinny jeans, but they're also a little bit baggy, but also, like, he's not gonna wear, like, wide-leg jeans to go ride a dragon. I don't know.
That's not what I said.
Maybe you should unsay what you said. Xaden could spit on me and I would ask him to do it again. And they gave it a 1 star? If I'm writing a review like that, I feel like that's a 5-star review. Who had a gun to the head of everyone who rated this 5 stars? Someone said, I need y'all to start having some standards for the books you read. I feel like I do have standards for the books that I read, and Fourth Wing meets all of my expectations and then some. This one also doesn't make sense to me. Reread this so I could give the book the 1 star it truly deserves. If a book is a 1-star read to me, I'm struggling to get through it, and there is no way, there is no amount of money that you could pay me to reread the book. This is a 1-star read. You could not pay me to reread it. No. This shitty book is as useful as toilet paper and serves the same purpose. Well, I read the audiobook, so I couldn't really use it as toilet paper if I wanted to. Walking Tragedy on Goodreads said, I so could take a guy named Zayden in a fight. Bestie. No. No, you can't. This book is the equivalent of the cow print tops from Shein. That's funny. Okay, that one's funny. I disagree, but you know what? At least they were funny about it. I can't help but sympathize with the poor dragons stuck in this story. I loved the dragons. I would do anything for those dragons. I'm gonna feed Brady to the dragons. Now we're getting into a book that I also gave 1 star to and should have DNF'd. Christina Lauren's The Paradise Problem. I've never hated a book as much as I hate this book. And I had such high hopes for it. And now we're gonna read the comments, the reviews of people that agree with me, because I feel like everyone under the sun loves this book. Anyone that I know that has read this book loves it. And I think it's horrible. So, finally I found my people. Main character is a 20-something-year-old woman with the personality of a 12-year-old boy, but even worse. From Twilight references to characters who started and remained unlikable. If you like Jersey Shore and Real Housewives, you might enjoy this. I, however, did not. I really don't remember much from this book because I kind of blacked it out, but the main character... What even is the main character's name? I should have known from the fact that Allie Hazelwood left a review on this book that I wasn't gonna like it. Anna Green. She was just like... I feel like she was so lazy, and she was like a aspiring artist, but like all we saw of her from the before she was on vacation with him, was like she was high and just like hanging out in like her pajamas or whatever. And it's like, girl, what are you even doing to try to become an artist? You just complaining that you're not? Like, I don't know. I just felt like the main character was insufferable. DNF, I was hoping this would be a light, fun read, but I was just very disappointed. Too many plot holes. No one for all these years did a background check on Anna with all that inheritance money at stake. Just not possible. Yeah, like, she's married the heir of, like, this, like, whatever, billion, I don't even know, dollar grocery store chain family, and not a single person even, like, looked her up. Like, really? They've been married for 5 years, and you've, like, never met her, and you never looked her up? The first thing I do when I find out that anybody I know is dating anybody is look them up. Like, even just, like, a quick, like, Instagram search. Like,
That's a little Delulu. Not like Emily Delulu, but like a little Delulu.
I'm Delulu for looking people up, or they're Delulu for not looking them up?
They're Delulu for not looking them up.
Okay, good. I thought you were gonna tell me that I was crazy. They should have looked her up. Like, that's crazy that no one did. Like, maybe not, like, the grandparents, but, like, a sibling? Someone should have looked this girl up, and nobody did. Story was all over the place. It's like, what direction was the story going in? I don't know. I didn't really get into it. The dialogue just made me cringe. Too much overly vulgar language. Like, there's such a thing as too much. Another annoying thing with all the different names for Liam, William, West. Yeah, why did this man have so many different names? And why did she call him multiple different names? Like, just pick one of them. Like, I understand if a character has different nicknames that, like, oh, the family calls them this. And, like, the girlfriend calls him this. But, like, she would mix and match what she called him. And it wasn't, like, difficult to keep it straight. It was just, like, annoying. The story is so predictable, it reads like an 18-plus Disney movie. That is an insult to Disney movies, in my professional opinion. Short, sweet, what a mess. Heir of a grocery store chain is the least attractive way to say someone is rich. Yeah, why did he own a grocery store? Like, why couldn't we have done something more fun than that? Like... I don't know if this mic is picking up what Brady says, but he just said heir of a grocery store chain goes really, really soft. It's honestly a bit of an ick. I don't care that he's rich. It's a little icky. No offense to anyone who's an heir of a grocery store chain. 1 star only for the fact that these authors can really sell a straight couple making out. Other than that, this was just Walmart brand Succession with a terrible writing style and characters you couldn't be paid to care about. I hate the main characters. I'm sick of dirt poor dumb girl who gets the smart rich guy trope. Like, come on, it's 2024. Yeah, she just like, okay, fine, rich girl marries, or poor girl really marries rich man for whatever. But like, why was she so stupid? Like, why didn't she have 2 brain cells to rub together to think of something? Have an original thought? Like, also, like, was she even, like, she just was so, everything about her, I disliked. And her only personality trait was having pink hair. Listen. I like dyeing my hair as much as the next person, but, like, if you're, like, why is that her only personality trait? Was that she had bright pink hair. I need a vacation from their god-awful vacation. Listen, if I read this book on vacation, I'd be really mad because that would ruin whatever day of vacation that I was reading it on. I was done the moment she said she wanted to lick the sweat off of his chest. Not a fan. Honestly, I think I might have missed the part where she wanted to lick the sweat off of his chest, but I should have stopped reading the moment that they referred to as his goddamn. That was when I should have put the book down in hindsight. This book is like 5% paradise and 95% problems. That's being generous, I think, personally. Both main characters say the dumbest things ever. This book has some of the most awkward and cringy scenes of any book I've ever read. Truly was painful to read. Way too many pop culture references. Yeah, there were so many pop culture references, and they weren't even, like, good ones. Like, they were already out-of-date pop culture references for when this book was released. So, like, I don't know, I feel like some pop culture references in books are fine because it's like, oh, well, then you, like, read this book back and you know exactly, like, when it was taking place, but it just felt like they were, like, grasping at straws to have, like, anything that would make it cool, but, like, instead it just made it even more cringy if that was possible. Let's see what Fable has to say. Okay, side note, Fable picks the ugliest covers of books. Like, it won't focus. I don't know. It's just like, at least this cover is pretty, but the one on Fable isn't even pretty. I didn't DNF this only because it was a fast read that still took me a week to finish because I actively hated it. But there wasn't anything substantial enough to hate. Reading a lot of these comments, though, it does sound like a lot of their other books are really good because people are like, oh, I loved this Christina Lauren book and this Christina Lauren, but, like, hated Paradise Problem. So I don't know if I would never, like, I would maybe, if I'm in the mood for romance, give another Christina Lauren book a chance, but not anytime soon because I'm still in my hating Christina Lauren for writing this monstrosity of a book. DNF at 37% because they wouldn't stop talking about their families. Like, yeah, I get they play a major role in the book, but my guy, I know more about your sister-in-law than I do about you. This book is like the offspring of cringe and a book, but the cringe won the lottery for genetic dominance. How does that even make sense? Like, what even is that review? I give that review a 1 star. This one has a quote from the book that, honestly, I think I completely missed because I do not remember this at all. But the quote is, I think I'm all set here, he says, and LOL, of course he isn't going to kiss me. And then their comment is, I should have burned this the minute I read LOL in a sentence. I think I completely missed that because if I read LOL in this book, I probably would have done. But I guess I also read Goddamn and didn't, and still kept reading, so maybe my standards were too low for this book. Well, this book was also a gift, so I felt like I had to finish reading it so that way I could give it, like, fully its, like, whole chance, like, read the whole book to be able to actually have an honest opinion. But at the same time, it was a gift because I had it on my TBR, and so that was why it was given to me, but it's bad. I think it's time that I stop thinking about this book and put it back on my shelf. I just realized my coffee matches the color of the Paradise Problem, and that's horrible. I need to go find a black and gold coffee cup and straw. I have Revolving Door stuck in my head. Honestly, that might be one of my favorite songs off of Kate's new album.